All right, our top story is making national headlines. We are doing something right now that experts are now saying is worse for our health than smoking.
We are simply sitting down. As sitting, get this, is really being called the new smoking. And there's some staggering research out there. It's just flat out shocking. That's going to go ahead and back this up. News 13's David Romero got a hold of that. He's live in a Newsplex. He's also sitting this morning. Hey, David?
Well, Matt, this is how the day looks for many people out there. They get to the office and they're sitting behind the computer. But one endocrinologist at the Mayo School of Medicine, Graduate School of Medicine, says this chair may be killing you. Now, scientists say sitting leads to a whole list of health complications. They include poor circulation and assorted aches and pains. In a study conducted last October, the British Journal of Sports Medicine, researchers compared sitting to smoking. Now, what they found was this. Every hour of TV a person watches, presumably while sitting, cuts about 22 minutes from their lifespan. By contrast, it's estimated that smokers shorten their lives by about 11 minutes per cigarette.
Which is moving during the day. If you go to the gym and work out for an hour and then sit for 5 hours a day, it's equivalent on a health basis of smoking a pack of cigarettes. So we need to get people to get up and move.
Dr. Agus recommends getting up and moving every 20 minutes during the day. A study published last year in Diabetes Care shows he's right. And you can improve your glucose metabolism with just a 2-minute walk every 20 minutes. So keep that in mind when you're sitting behind the desk today. Get up, go take a walk, even if it's just down the hall, go get some water. And luckily for our anchors, sometimes they have to move all over the newsroom. So I know you guys won't be sitting for too long during this 2-hour show. Back to you.
That's 2.5, Mr. Romero. We start at 4:30. I'm just kidding with you. One easy tip for you to break the sitting cycle is just increase the amount of steps you take every day. Maybe take that parking spot that's farther from the door. Don't circle around the parking lot 8 times to get one that's close, or just take a little lap around the office. They say use a pedometer, and then
That's good advice.
10,000 steps a day. And I also wonder what happens if you sit and smoke. That's got to be just
dread
a killer.
that parking far situation. I like to park right smack in front of the station.
Yeah. Well, you're
But I guess
pregnant
I
and it's
should-
early, so you have a little leeway right now,
Okay.
just right now. Okay, 6:03. Do not be confused if downtown Albuquerque looks a little different for the next few days.
It is being transformed to look a little like Berkeley, California, for the new Johnny Depp movie that is being shot here. Take a look at this. A bike shop, a yogurt place, and a clothing store just popped up overnight. Plus, Gold Street Cafe is turning into a record store just for the time being. Even the streetlights are getting a little bit of a makeover, and this is all for the new flick, Transcendence.
It brings an interest to the downtown area. Because I think that once people start to say, oh, they filmed here, you know, they'll start coming down to this area more.
The stores and restaurants get paid very well to be involved in the film and will be back to normal in a few days. And no, we haven't heard of any Johnny Depp sightings just yet, or whether he will be shooting at any of the scenes in downtown. But if we see him, we'll be sure to let you know. And later this morning, we expect to learn more about an upcoming film festival in the Duke City that will be hosted by the city and the Albuquerque Film and Media Experience executives. The film festival is expected to take place June 3rd through the 9th. It should include over 6 world movie premieres and 80 domestic international films. And on the attendance list, Robert Redford, Joshua Michael Stern, and Stephen Michael Casada, along with many other celebrities.
Here's some good news. Teachers and school workers in Hobbs will be getting a paycheck, a bigger paycheck very soon for the first time in 4 years. Starting July 1st, they're getting at least a 3.5% raise. Superintendent T.J. Parks told the Hobbs News Sun that the extra money is coming from the district having more students. Substitute teachers will also get a raise. That's at 15%. Well, the New Mexico Livestock Board has a very big problem this morning.
Yeah, it is trying to figure out how to pay to feed 1,000 head of cattle found starving near Fort Sumner.
There is nothing out there for these animals to eat at this point. It's just nothing but dirt.
Now this right here, what you're looking at, is the Double V Ranch, where the Livestock Board says a herd of cattle are barely surviving. Officials say they received an anonymous tip about the problem a couple of weeks ago. At least 25 cows were found dead. Over the weekend, the Livestock Board showed up with truckloads of hay to feed the cattle. Now, some cows were so weak they couldn't even get up to eat. We are told the cows will be moved to the northeastern part of the state later this week, costing about $3 a day for each cow. That comes to a total of $3,000 a day.
We don't have actually the funding and the means to do it, but we're obligated to do it, so we're just going forward with it and hopefully we can gain some assistance.
The search is still on for the owner of the cattle, Richard Evans. There is a warrant out for his arrest for 25 counts of extreme animal cruelty. A special tribute in Angel Fire, where an American flag was taken on Memorial Day for a march. One of our viewers, Janet Saylor, shot this video of the U.S. flag as it was taken on a mile-long march on Highway 64 to the Angel Fire Vietnam Memorial. Now, once it arrived, members of the Taos Pueblo raised the flag at the site. The memorial was built by the family of Marine Captain David Westfall. He was killed in Vietnam back in 1968. In 2005, the Westfall family turned the monument over to the state, which made it into a state park.
Congress is now talking about a bill to build a monument to recognize Native American veterans. Since the early 20th century, Native Americans have enlisted in the armed forces at a higher rate than any other group of people. But there is no statue or monument here along the National Mall in Washington to honor them. The U.S. Senate is now talking about a bill to allow the National Museum of the American Indian to begin fundraising for the memorial. All right, 6:07 now. We all know New Mexico is bone dry out there, and unfortunately lakes and rivers are shrinking every single day.
But here's a question. Did that actually stop people from enjoying Memorial Day at Elephant Butte, which is known to be a hot spot? Our meteorologist, Kristen Van Dyke, is keeping a close eye on Elephant Butte and the drought situation. Good morning, Kristen.
Good morning, Elizabeth. The Butte is such a sad example of how dry it is. Take a look at this video and you can see just how low the water is. And get this, the federal government says the lake is just 11% full right now, the lowest the water's ever been. But it didn't keep people from having a good time there for the holiday weekend. Thousands of boats, RVs, and swimmers packed the shore for the last few days. Some shops say business was a little slow and others say it was pretty good. But the true test comes from the visitors themselves, like this guy from Wisconsin.
I wouldn't have guessed it until we did some research, but it certainly lived up to the expectations.
Well, last year, 89,000 people packed the Butte for Memorial Day weekend. Coming up in a few minutes, I'll let you know if any rain is on the way to help out with this drought situation. Elizabeth, back to you.
All right, good to know, Kristen. Thank you.